I always compare it to professional wrestling, right? So in pro wrestling,
you compare everything to professional wrestling. This is your go-to analogy. I love it. I'm actually kind of glad that we got onto streaming in general, because there is one of these topics at the moment that's kind of blown up in the last kind of week or so online. So all those big streamers who were killing it during lockdown because there was like, so many new eyes on what they were doing. Some of the biggest ones are following suit, and like as we've seen, like Mixer in the past. Remember Mixer with Facebook?
Yeah,
Ninja, who was the biggest streamer in the world at the time, and Shroud, another one, changed to Mixer with Facebook. It was Xbox at the time, Mixer, and then they kind of merged with Facebook, and then basically said to Ninja and Shroud, "We paid you millions of dollars each, but now we've changed. You can kind of just walk away with all the money and just that's it." And they were like, 11 months after leaving Twitch, they both made millions. I went back to Twitch again. So it's like, okay. But now others are following suit, and YouTube gaming seems to be the place to be, dude.
Yeah, wasn't Dr. Disrespect one of the first high-profile guys to jump to YouTube?
Yeah, but for the reasons that we're all still, as viewers, are still waiting to understand exactly why that happened, because he was ousted from Twitch, and he's always claimed he was ousted, and he plays up to the fact that he still has no idea why he was booted off the platform from one of the biggest streamers.
He knows what
he
happens.
Must do. You must do.
But yeah, I think it's fascinating. I think ultimately Twitch will always reign supreme, though, right? Just because it was the originator, it was the one that started it all. So I imagine that it will maintain its stronghold. But I get it. Money talks, doesn't it? It's like anything. When there's competition, it's like I always compare it to professional wrestling, right? So in pro wrestling,
you compare everything to professional wrestling. This is your go-to analogy. I love it.
In the 90s, you had WWF and WCW, and then a lot of the big wrestlers like Hulk Hogan and Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, all jumped from WWF to WCW, made a ton of money. WCW didn't really take off overall in the end, and they all came back and made a ton more money in WWF. So I think the people are just going to keep jumping from side to side.
I think you're right. I think the biggest two this week that if you guys haven't seen, the Who's actually jumped ship now. Two big streamers. The first one was a guy called Dr. Lupo, who has been on the platform for a long time, and also a massive streamer called TIMTHETATMAN. And I'm sure you know Tim as well. Very much still part of that same kind of like group of creators who are all kind of in the same. Because everyone's all mates, aren't they, mate? Let's be honest. They're all kind of inside the network. And they've all kind of they have both committed themselves to YouTube gaming, but found that. But this is the kind of weird thing. They found themselves on Twitch. That's how they got big in the first place. And it kind of feels like something must be going on behind the scenes, mates, for them to kind of obviously the paycheck must be a massive, because YouTube gaming is really pushing now for like. But I don't know if you've tried to ever stream on YouTube. It's a mess, mate. Like a mess.
You know, YouTube have made several offers to me and my mum for, jumping our flight simulator stream across there.
That's YouTube. But, that's one of their biggest. That's one of their biggest kind of like every year they have annual like, right, what are we doing this year strategically? What's the next thing? We need to secure Chambers and his mum flight sim experiences because they are going to sell like hotcakes, bruv.
Yeah, Iain and Maggie. Let's bring them in. Yeah, I've never
Maggie adventures. Aerial adventures, love it.
No, but yeah, I don't even watch much. If I'm honest, I don't consume much live stream gaming content on YouTube either. I tend to use Twitch, so I've never really tried to work within the YouTube interface when it comes to streaming myself. Have you tried it out?
I did, yeah. So obviously we upload a lot of videos from this podcast to now it's called the Savage Situation Podcast is the YouTube channel, but there's obviously a ton more videos there. It used to just be the Adam Savage channel. Think about it this way: when you play on Twitch, you go right, play this game, type it in. These are a few tags here, bish bash bosh. Press live, you're live. With YouTube, you've got to do everything you would do with a YouTube video. You've got to upload a thumbnail. You've got to upload all your kind of tags, descriptions, all these different things, age restrictions. You've got to do so many different things just to put a stream out there. The major one being kind of the thumbnail kind of stuff is just a ball ache, really. But it's a lot. There's a lot more hoops to jump through. But the hardest part is YouTube gaming kind of went through this transition of basically what you would have like a homepage like Twitch. They basically ditched it. And they were like, we're not going to do that anymore. So to find new people is really hard. Like genuinely, it's a hard graft to find new creators. And you can't, it hasn't got the same functionality like raids or tips, bits, or like it's very different.
Yeah, that's one of the best things about Twitch, isn't it? The whole raid gimmick where you can literally, you can go from no viewers to 500,000, 2,000 if you know somebody who's got that following. And I've been raided a few times, and it's one of the great features, community features of Twitch. But you know what? Until I'm not gonna crap on YouTube gaming as a streamer until I've tried it. So you know what? I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try.
You're gonna
it.
try. Okay. Well, this is it. So with the one of the things that you mentioned, that the raid element, I think that's what's had a lot of backlash recently. So ultimately in the last few weeks, I'd say, because Twitch has had its fair share of crazy in terms of like what's happened on the platform. So you look forward to this year, and now what's happened is it's got toxic in a different way. There's a lot of hate raids. And that's why I think this has been like kind of a thing. So in the last few weeks, a lot of smaller creators have had hate raids. So people raid the channel and just spout horrendous stuff like trolling. They kind of just
get a life losers.
Exactly, well, massive losers. But like, there's hate raiding, there's doxing going on as well. Kind of like actively trying to find information like home addresses and stuff. Suddenly seeing like X amount of hundreds of people kind of suddenly come to a channel like, this is amazing.
Yeah, but if they're then hating, it's horrible.
It's like a plague of locusts, mate. It's horrible.
Mate, you know what, right? If I don't understand how these people operate. I don't know what makes them tick in the morning. I don't know how they get out of bed, make themselves a cup of coffee and say, I'm going to be a hater today. But you know what? F the haters.
F the haters,
and do you know what? And if anybody ever goes through that sort of thing, whether you're at school or whatever, if you see negative comments or whatever else, just remember, it all stems from jealousy. And it all stems from the fact that these people are ultimately not truly happy.